an article from the Daily Poster written by David Sirota, friend of the show, and Andrew Perez. And the headline is, Corporate Democrats show progressives how to play hardball. Progressives politely refused to wield power to secure a $15 minimum wage, and now conservative Democrats are wielding power to secure tax cuts for the wealthy. It's a big tent, Ron, the Democratic Party, where only the worst intentions yield any power.
It's a great trend to have.
So this is like, look at the Daily Poster. David Sirota, Andrew Perez calling out the progressives for politely refusing to wield their own power to help people. And let's remember, one of the worst abuses of power there is to not use the power you have for good. You know who's doing it? The conservative Democrats are using the power they have for evil, to get tax cuts for the wealthy. The people we sent there to fight for the $50 minimum wage will not do it. And guess what? This article, the Daily Poster, they name names. They're going to name names in this article. I'm going to show you. Earlier this month, progressive lawmakers refused to withhold their votes on a must-pass COVID-19 stimulus legislation unless the bill included a $15 minimum wage. Huh. That's it. Isn't that interesting? Good times, huh? A few weeks later, conservative Democrats are now threatening to withhold their votes on must-pass infrastructure legislation until the bill includes large tax cuts for the wealthy. So when they say conservative Democrats, they should just say Democrats, because that's what the Democratic Party is. They're a conservative right-wing party. Now, I get a lot of pushback in the comments when I say that. They go, it's not conservative to raise taxes on people. Anyway, the Democratic Party...
It's a conservative party.
...is a conservative. They are not a left party. They are not a liberal party. They are not a left party. They are a neoliberal right-wing party.
When there's not even consensus that healthcare is a human right, you're not a left-wing party.
That's not
you
a
are a conservative party. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Anywhere else, in any other industrialized country, they would be a right-wing party, and they'd probably be the furthest right option that you got.
More on this from the story. The contrast in tactics spotlights congressional politics right now. The right wing of the Democratic Party is willing to play hardball on behalf of the affluent, to the point of threatening to take down one of President Joe Biden's signature legislative initiatives. Again, the right wing of the Democratic Party is willing to play hardball on behalf of the affluent. That means the Democratic Party. And why is there a right wing to the Democratic Party? Don't we already have a right wing party? Do they have a centrist wing of the Democratic Party? It's almost like we have two right wing parties because Wall Street controls both of them. By contrast, the left wing of the party has not yet been willing to play hardball on behalf of the working class. The guys who wrote this article, I'm going to have to correct you on this. You're forgetting about several sternly worded letters. So I don't mean to correct your story, but you are missing several very sternly worded letters.
Couple tweets.
And who knows how many tweets? That refusal ultimately helped kill a promised wage increase in the recent pandemic bill and could similarly imperil other progressive priorities. Congressional Democrats in states like New York and New Jersey have been pushing for a repeal of SALT, which is state and local tax deduction caps. If the SALT cap was repealed, nearly all, 96%, of the tax benefits would flow to the top quintile of earners. And more than half of the benefits would go to the top 1% of earners, according to Brookings Institute data. You don't even need Republicans to do this shit. This is Democrats. Do you see what I'm saying? There's no left party in this country. This is the alternative that we voted for. This is the alternative that we vote. We voted for an alternative right-wing party. 3 conservative Democrats, Representative Bill Pascrell and Josh Gothamer of New Jersey, and New York Representative Tom Suozzi, are saying they will vote against any tax-related legislation that does not eliminate those caps. Wow. No salt, no deal, Suozzi said in a press release Tuesday. Wow. Whatever side of the issue you may be on, one thing is clear. The trio of lawmakers is leveraging their positions and demonstrating how Congress actually works. This is fucking amazing. Pardon my French. But this is amazing. So the squad, the Justice Democrats who all ran on doing this thing, won't do it even a little, won't even answer questions about it, except when they come from The Intercept and there's going to be no follow-up. Except when it comes from a bullshit interference access journalism thing at The Intercept. They'll never go on a real show and answer questions about this. They're gonna go to Mehdi Hassan and answer his question. They'll never go on a real show. They'll go on fucking Young Turks bullshit corporate news show. Well, they'll never ask him a real question. They had Bernie on their show. Not one question about the CARES Act when they had him on, by the way. Just so you know. This is amazing. In a narrowly divided House, the more power each individual lawmaker has, because leaders need their votes to pass legislation. That's what we've been talking about. That's why they could have got the $15 minimum wage in the COVID relief bill if the Justice Democrats wanted it. They didn't want it. If they wanted it, that's a funny way to show it. Look what these people are doing. They're willing to put a knife in Joe Biden's chest so they could get tax breaks for the wealthy. They're not even helping people. They're not fighting for the underprivileged or the people who are in desperate straits. No. We got to get more money for the rich, and we're willing to stab Joe Biden in the front. The Justice Democrats aren't willing to help the least amongst us. They're not willing to risk anything to help anyone do anything. And no one will call them out except this show. And look at this. The Daily Poster is doing it now. So the Jimmy Dore Show and the Daily Poster calling out the Justice Democrats by name. Here, I'll show you where he does. He's going to do it later in the article. In this situation, 3 relatively obscure, low-profile legislators who are not major social media brands are utilizing their power to defend the interests of the wealthy. So he's saying just run-of-the-mill 3 Congress people who nobody knows, they have no social media track, they have no movement behind them, and they're going to fucking get shit done. And the people with all the media attention and all the grassroots support and 10, 12 million Twitter followers aren't going to do shit for you. Except lie to you about what's going on in the COVID relief bill. This is the opposite of what congressional progressives did on the minimum wage during the debate over the American Rescue Plan. By the way, did I write this article and then forget I wrote it? Because it sounds like I wrote it at the Jimmy Dore Show. Is David Sroda and Andrew Pratt, they've been watching this show? Because that's what it sounds like. Or maybe we've all been watching the same show. Watch, what are they going to call? We're getting closer to them calling out a name. And because they didn't wield power in the way conservative Democrats are wielding power, the Biden White House knew these progressives could be ignored, and the $15 minimum wage was eliminated from the legislation. If that wasn't bad enough, after the $15 minimum wage was killed, Jay Appel gave cover to Biden by insisting after the fact that he is still committed to the wage increase, even though he didn't lift a frickin' finger to make it happen. They're calling out Jay Appel by name. This is a major development, Ron. This is a major development. There is someone else besides the Jimmy Dore show calling out worthless Justice Democrats by name, people who won't lift a finger to help you. They're calling them out over at the Daily Poster. David Sirota, Andrew Perez, calling out Representative Jay Appel by name. This is a big day over at the Daily Poster. This is a big day for the left. This is a big day. Do you know how much fucking cowering and shivering went into that decision to put that name in this article? Good for them.
It'll be funny if after this video drops, they amend it and
they
take
amend
it
it
out.
and take that name out.
Like, take that, Jimmy.
Take that, Jimmy Dore. They're not messing around, Rod. Their name is, I see it. It's right there. It's right in there.
Yeah.
They're naming names. I'm teasing, but this is good. This is good. We need more articles like this. You're never going to see this at the Young Turks, but this is good. It's a good start, maybe. This isn't rocket science. This is negotiations 101. Where have I heard this before? Where have I heard this before? Who has been saying this since the end of November? Where have I heard this?
Maybe you wrote this article on DMT.
Oh, maybe I was on DMT and I forgot that I wrote it and the purple lady danced with me.
Call back to yesterday.
This isn't rocket science. This is negotiation 101. If you aren't willing to condition support for a final deal on a set of clear demands, then your demands will be ignored. Oh, my God. I do not remember writing this article. I don't.
This isn't rocket
I'm
science.
not kidding. I don't remember this. I bet I didn't write it. That's the story here. That's the real story. Jimmy Dore didn't write this article. This article was written 3 months after Forced to Vote. Conservative Democrats fighting for tax cuts for their wealthy donors understand this. No one can live on $7.25 an hour. It's time to raise the minimum wage, says Pramila Jayapal, who just gave cover to Joe Biden for screwing people out of a minimum wage. As the Daily Poster points out, she's full of shit, and she's selling you out. And she's doing it right in your face. Right in your face. Will there be another YouTube show to call them out by name? Have the balls that the Daily Poster is showing today? I know I'm teasing, but no kidding. Tip of the hat to them. For not only the article that I wrote in November in my DMT trip for printing it. I appreciate that. But also for calling out someone by name.
You were on DMT when you wrote the article, and then again when you hit send.
And then when I hit send. Here's Representative Ro Khanna, Ron. He says, retweet if you want to see a $15... No, how about you withhold your vote if you want to see a $15 minimum wage? Not retweet.
Yeah, don't retweet anything. Don't retweet anything. Stop falling for the ministry of appeasement, because that's what it all is. All these nice tweets, what would $2,000 a month do for you and your family? Retweet if you want to see this policy that we don't actually have a plan for. Stop doing it. Every single time it should just be ratioed. What are you doing to make this happen? What are you doing right now to make this happen? Well, get off Twitter and go frickin' do it.
Get off Twitter, Ro, and go fucking do something, you blowhard bullshitter. What a bullshitter he turned out to be. God damn it. Gave him every benefit of the doubt, and when push came to shove, he's a fucking nutless wonder like the rest of them. His own interns are embarrassed of him, ashamed of him, as they should be. And if Ro Khanna had any dignity, he'd be ashamed of himself. But it looks like he doesn't. It looks like he's just another run-of-the-mill garbage politician who every once in a while does something good about Yemen. Because this is garbage. That is, why don't you just piss in our face? Because that's what that is. Retweet if you want Representative Ro Khanna to withhold his vote if $15 minimum wage is not included in the next must pass. That's what you should be doing, Ro. You bullshitting, nutless wonder. Oh, I'll show how tough I am. I'll go on Jimmy Dore show and show everybody how tough I am. And then I'll go and sell everybody out. Huh? Bullshitter. Didn't you have hope for him, Ron?
I mean, I had more hope for everybody. I mean, Roe, yeah, like you said, he does some okay things on Yemen. He does some okay things on digital rights. But then, I mean, everything else, they're just falling in line and not using their leverage when they have it.
Why do you think that is? Why would the conservative Democrats be willing to do that, Ron, and someone like Ro Khanna is not?
Well, I think some of it is just by design. This is a very common story. When it comes to actually helping out working people, oh, we're so weak, we can't do anything. But when it comes to helping out the donor class, the 1%, Wall Street, who really controls your parties, oh, we can fight all of a sudden. We can fight. Whether we're the Republicans or the, quote, conservative Democrats, we can fight all of a sudden. Also, you have to look at the system itself. The best thing for Ro Khanna or any squad member, the best thing for them to do is to just be quiet and play it the company way. So if we, the people, don't push them, that's what they're going to do. It doesn't matter what they tweet. It doesn't matter what they say. That's the system they're a part of, and they're willingly a part of it. So if you just let that go, or if you worship them and refuse to call them out when they don't deliver, or you sugarcoat what's really going on in our political system, that's what they're going to do. That's what they're going to do. Or if they fight the good fight, I mean, they have to look out and see a movement behind them, and that movement needs to hold them accountable.
So here's my theory of why. Because to ascend in the party, so like, people say Roe wants to be president. Doesn't make you a bad person. You want to be president. I think he wants to be president. Why wouldn't you?
I actually think it's very scary if someone wants to be president. I mean, I've been thinking about this. Like, I think if you want to be president, it should just disqualify you from ever running. But, you know, dare to dream.
Dare to dream. Hey, everybody, this is the part where I tell you where all our live shows are, but there aren't any. And then this is why I tell you to join our premium program and get extra content, but nobody's got a fucking job. So just enjoy the video.